Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We might have, in a very, very weird way, just gotten our first major leak about when Modern Warfare 4 is going to be releasing. And from that, we can kind of build out the expectations of the first initial content and updates through Modern Warfare 4, especially when you realize what Call of Duty is going to be avoiding this entire time as well. Spoiler alert, it's GTA 6. But over the weekend, we ended up getting, like I said, a really bizarre leak. I don't know if you want to call it a full-on leak or what, but it stems from Charlie Intel, who really is the most credible source when it comes to inside information, specifically around COD. The man, the myth, the legend himself, though, T-Dog, ended up posting saying, hey, everyone, predict when Modern Warfare 4 is going to come out. T-Dog says he thinks it's happening September 22nd. To this, Charlie Intel outright responded saying, it'll be in October. Now, Charlie Intel, like I said, they've got sources, they got the inside info. I don't know if this is Charlie Intel just outright saying, you know what? Let's have some fun today. Let's cause some chaos. Let's just say it's going to be in October based off of information that they've heard, or if Charlie Intel is just going through and, making an educated guess here. I will say, though, I think October makes a lot of sense for reasons we'll get into here in just a moment. T-Dog then replies and says, Mr. Charlie, that's Mr. Charles to you, Mr. Dog, give me a guess of an exact date, please. And Charlie Intel responds and says, well, there's 5 Fridays in October, so it's gonna be one of them. As we know right now, Call of Duty's always release on Fridays. It's sort of like their whole release schedule now. So if you were to look at October, yes, there are in fact 5 potential dates for the game to release. However, I do think we can narrow that down a bit further because Call of Duty ultimately is going to look to avoid GTA 6 for as long as possible. And when it comes to an actual release, we know obviously GTA 6 is dropping in November. I believe November 19th is the exact release date for that as of right now. Now, of course, GTA 6 absolutely could end up getting delayed yet again. Hopefully that's not the case because I just want the game at this point. We're going to be making so much content about it. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for it. But as of right now, November 19th is that GTA 6 launch. Call of Duty does not want to release close to that in any capacity because obviously so much attention is going to GTA 6. Even though they're not similar games and they're not in the same genre, GTA 6 is going to be the biggest game of all time. It is going to shatter every single record imaginable for a game's launch. Like, it's just in COD's interest and quite frankly, every other game's best interest to avoid launching near GTA 6. It's also worth pointing out, COD definitely is not launching after GTA 6 releases, so you could rule out a late November or early December release date. So not wanting to launch after, not wanting to launch before, that pushes you then to the first 2 weeks in November or October. And again, the first 2 weeks in November, pretty close to GTA 6. That wouldn't give COD much time to breathe before all the GTA 6 hype begins. So that then pushes you to October, in which you have October 2nd, October 9th, October 16th, October 23rd, and October 30th as the 5 Fridays in this month. Now, we can go a step further and say, okay, what makes sense for COD's post-launch cycle as well that might indicate more of when MW4 might release? Because if we're going off of COD's track record and their history, which for what it's worth, COD is very predictive as far as their cycles go, if you will, they always end up dropping major updates. In this case, it's season 1 in the Warzone integration, anywhere between 2 weeks and 4 weeks post-launch. We've seen some earlier season 1 in Warzone integration updates. We've seen about that 1 month mark as well in recent times. Now, if the game were to release in late October, let's say the 23rd or the 30th, that again is going to push the first major updates of Modern Warfare 4 and the major Warzone update for the year right up against that GTA 6 launch. If MW4 were to release on the 30th or the 23rd, so the last 2 Fridays in October, and then season 1 were to drop a month after the fact, nice 4 weeks, let's say, for you to go through and level up weapons and get prepared for the Warzone integration and for that honeymoon phase to maybe wear off, well then you're looking at a season 1 update that either lands right next to or right after the GTA 6 launch. Dropping the biggest Warzone integration update for the year and, maybe DMZ stuff at that time too. We're going to have to wait and see. Right next to GTA 6 would be a nightmare for COD. That would not go over well whatsoever. And again, they don't want to be launching that stuff after GTA 6 either. That just wouldn't be a good business decision. So that means that presumably Season 1 and the Warzone integration update have to drop before November 19th. So that would push those updates to like November 12th or November 5th potentially. But still, I think a Warzone integration and a Season 1 update only like 2 weeks after launch, that's not giving players a ton of time to experience the launch cycle of a COD in general, which means that likely, you know, just going again off of their track record, off of COD's history here and what they presumably are going to be wanting to do to optimize this launch, get the most money out of it, get the most attention out of it, means a much earlier October launch. We'd be looking at the 16th, the 9th, or the 2nd, so that the game has a good barrier at launch between it and the launch of GTA 6, but then also it would give them time to potentially launch Season 1 and a Warzone integration multiple weeks before GTA 6. If you were to launch on the 16th or the 9th, I think October 2nd is pretty early, all things considered, for a COD launch. Certainly not impossible, but like I think the 9th and the 16th make a little bit more sense. That would allow you to maybe launch the Warzone integration update at the very end of October or at the very start of November and have enough breathing room in between that and GTA 6 for them to optimize that launch and get a good business cycle out of that launch. And that to me certainly lines up well. Again, this is simply speculating and theorizing, but I think that makes the most sense when you look at the grand scheme of things and how worried COD objectively is going to be about GTA 6 pulling a ton of players from it, as every game on the market should be around that time. COD sets themselves up for much more success if they opt for that route in earlier October and then the Season 1 update and the Warzone integration in maybe late October or very early November. That'd be my educated guess. So either, you know, through knowing some inside information and kind of not so subtly just putting it out there, not specifically with the exact date, but October nonetheless, Charlie Intel's guess here of what's happening I think makes a whole lot of sense. Of course, with an October launch, that would also mean that an actual beta testing phase for MW4 would probably come a little bit earlier, rather than, you know, maybe mid-September like what we've seen in some years. This could be an early August beta period, so they have enough time to have the beta and then make actual adjustments and updates to the game and have it ready for launch based off of that feedback. Depending on how much Infinity Ward, you know, wants to go through and listen this time around, we'll see if things are a bit different than MW2. I've been seeing posts of like, you know, MW2 beta feedback lately where players are like, hey, we should change this, and this. And none of that ended up getting changed for launch, which was concerning at the time. And it's even more concerning looking back on now. But the MW4 launch leaks seemingly have begun here in a very bizarre way, courtesy of Charlie Intel. So we'll have to see how things unfold. Of course, it also might not be too long now into the you know, next few weeks, maybe the next month or so, where we get an official announcement of MW4 and maybe around that time an actual release date. Wouldn't be surprised if the first bit of info we get for the game is them revealing the logo of MW4 or the title for it, and then it's going to say releasing October, insert any Friday here. Could absolutely play out like that, and then of course we'll end up getting that full-on gameplay reveal in June according to the leaks and rumors. But certainly some interesting info here, and I think a fun time speculating about what could happen here, and we'll see how things play out and see how spot on we were with our guesses here, our guesstimations if you will. That's gonna wrap things up though. If you guys enjoyed this video, you're excited for MW4, do me a favor, hit that like button, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to stay in the know for everything going on in COD, especially with a very busy marketing and reveal season upcoming here in the not so distant future. Once again though, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.